Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Coffee Run Live. It is I, your very consistent poster, your host. Oh my God, it's like coffee hasn't kicked in yet. What the hell is going on? How funny. So let's see how the internet holds up today. It has not been fabulous this morning. Let me just give you the red hot tip on that. So hopefully we can make this somewhat successful. So what I really wanted to talk with you all about today, and please, as you're coming on, make sure you let me know that you can hear me because, as I said, internet's not playing along. What I want to talk to you about today is something that came up actually this morning. I mean, it's also something that's been kind of like rolling around that I felt like I needed to talk with you guys about when it comes to the kinds of work that you do, right? Now, I don't know about you, but I know for me, I know how to make money. I know how to market. I know how to sell. And this is, I've been in business now for 10 years. And in this business for 10 years, previous businesses before this. And I think the interesting thing for me has been that I know how to make money. I'm sure that you know how to make money. You know how to sell something. You can go and have a garage sale. You know how to make money. But one of the things that for me that I had struggled with over the years was kind of like finding my place. And the reason for that is more because me, and I know this to be true for a lot of people as well, is like we've got these preconceptions, these ideas, these almost like these beliefs around how we can make money, what we can do to make money, how we have to be in order to make money. Right. And one of the ways that this showed up for me is like, I've been really well known in the industry for somebody who early on, like in the first 5-6 years of my business, known for absolutely crushing it with, helping people, coaching people, mentoring people, teaching people, training people how to use Facebook to grow their business. It's really how I kind of like earned my stripes, if you like. Learned all the ins and outs about how to build an online business myself. And then I started teaching other people to do it, learned how to create ads, started teaching other people how to do it. And what I saw back then is a really distinct big ass gap in the way that everything was being done was that there was this kind of missing piece around, you can go and create an ad, but what about the mindset that can get in the way from putting yourself out there and, all of that kind of stuff. So a lot of what I was doing, teaching, training, included a hell of a lot of mindset work. And what happened for me, no panda, you're not going outside. What happened for me was that I was doing $1 million a year. I was, things were going brilliantly. Clients were getting amazing and epic results. But more and more, as people would come in, I was able to do some of the deeper work, right? That more of my higher level clients started to want, need, and crave. So a lot of the mindset work, like the coaching type of stuff. And there's always things that come up, right? They need more motivation, inspiration. How do we, bit like a sport coach, I suppose. It's like you get good, but then what do you need to do to get great? And then once you're great, like what do you need to do to be able to then step it up to that next level? So, for a lot of the people that I was working with, this was the kind of stuff that I was helping them along with. It wasn't just the, how to get started. And what started to happen for me was that the cracks started to show in the business that I had started to grow. I started to get, that I was growing. I started to get really itchy feet. I started to get really hungry for more depth, right? It's kind of like you can play on the surface with friendships for a while, but there comes a time, or relationships for a while, but there comes a time where for a lot of people, we crave something more. We crave for more meaning, we crave more connection, we crave more substance, more maturity, if you like. And I'm not talking about like that being a different person, but like different types of conversations and to be able to talk about like what your goals are, you know, deeper, more meaningful stuff than, you know, what's for dinner and how is your day. You know, we're looking for that deeper connection. And I suppose for me, what started to happen was I started to see glimpses. Hi, Carmen. Good morning again. I started to see glimpses of what my zone of genius was. So in 2013, 2014, I remember reading, maybe 2014, I think actually, I remember reading a book, maybe it was the end of, anyway, doesn't really matter, was reading a book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And he talks a lot about your zone of genius, right? And love the shit out of this book. And that provided a whole lot of, for me at that point in time, a whole lot of insights into different ways that I hold myself back, different upper limiting problems, upper limiting beliefs, you know, this kind of thing. And I think it's a must read for anybody who is growing a business. You've got to read this book. It's brilliant. And, you know, for me, it was like, well, you know, I've been holding myself back. I remember at Sales and Marketing Spy School, Carmen was there, 2014. I remember going out for a walk in the morning around we were at the Marriott, so like right on the fringe of the CBD in Melbourne. And we could just like walk outside and over the road, and there was some big gardens around, and, you know, walked around the gardens. I don't know Melbourne very well, but like walked around the gardens there. And I remember having a conversation with my mother, and because they worked for me full time at the time. I remember saying to her, you know, it's really interesting, this concept around, you know, our limiting beliefs and stuff like that. And man, you know, I wish that I could do these events all the time. I wish that I could be out there and doing it, because this is fucking fun. You know, helping people see their own potential, helping people to create plans and see what they're able to achieve when they let go of the shit that's holding them down. I'm like, man, I want to do this all day, every day. This is fucking brilliant. And, you know, and then the work that I was able to do with people, like clients that came on as a result of that, was really super powerful. But for me, I didn't think that people would pay me to do that type of work kind of like full time, right? And so I had this kind of tug of war going on, this push-pull with my soul, and struggling, and was like battling with this genius around, well, you know what, I know pragmatically that this is how I can make money. Right? This is how I can continue to do $1 million a year, how I can grow to probably 2 million, 10 million a year. Like, I've just got to, you know, put more in and, you know, scale it up. I know that I can do that. But I had this other part of me that was like, you know, if the cost is continuing to do, train and teach the technical stuff. You remember like Facebook ads, how to build funnels. I was like the technical help desk. It was driving me fucking crazy, because so much of my time was consumed with like the ever-changing algorithm, the ever-changing technology, and I knew that there was more to me than just helping people with their freaking Facebook ads, right? But that was the way that I was able to make a whole lot of money. And I suppose for me, it was like this tug of war, this push-pull between the belief that for me to be able to continue making money, to be able to scale it up, hey Joe, and all of this kind of thing, was that I needed to keep doing that. But then there's also this pull, this calling from my soul, was like, but you're like, there's so much more to you than this, Nicola. There's so much more for you to be able to do. And so for me, it was kind of like this dance that happened for quite some time. I remember having a conversation with a mentor at the start of 2015, was in Las Vegas, and I remember saying to him, you know what, I've made a lot of money helping people with how to do Facebook ads and how to build funnels and, you know, how to leverage themselves on social media. And that's really great. But what my main focus was, because what everyone wanted back then was, how do I do Facebook ads? How do I build a freaking funnel? How do I connect these two things? This thing isn't connecting. This thing isn't working. You know, all of that stuff. And you're right, Carmen, Facebook ads was what you all needed back then. I completely agree. And I'm incredibly grateful that I was able to do that work and to be able to really build my foundation. and what's kind of interesting though is that I also had this belief, and I guess this is kind of like at the guts of what I want to say today. I had this belief that there's no way that I'm going to be able to, full-time work on helping people with their mindset, seeing their potential, pulling their ideas out of their head that they can then turn into marketing and money and, stuff like that. No one's going to freaking pay me to do that. No one's going to pay me to, to be able to help them with that stuff. That's not what they want. That's not what they need, blah, 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 blah. I had all of the excuses and all of the reasons until it could no longer be handled, right? Until that could no longer carry on. So like along the way, you know what it's like, right? When you, when you find yourself doing the work that you're really here to do, when that genius really kicks in, you're like, fuck, I don't know where that came from, but thank you. Can we have more of that, please? Because that freaking rocked. When you have those experiences, and it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like a spiritual experience. I feel like, when you have these really amazing conversations with people and it's like, wow, I did really good, thank you. I'm like, I want more of that. And then you kind of revert back to, yeah, but this is what I have to do in order to, to keep the lights on and all the rest of it. It was kind of for me like the signs that I needed to let that go and move into this other space were getting louder and louder. I was getting more and more miserable. I was getting more frustrated. And it got to the point in 2017 where the sign was just really freaking huge. It's like, okay, I get it. Brought everything to a grinding halt. So, it took 3 years of this dance and between, still doing the work that I felt like was easy, I mastered it. I was an expert, absolute expert in how to do all of that. Like there's no disregarding that. Like absolutely, clients got amazing results and all of that stuff from it. But I felt like every time at that point, I was bringing people in and teaching them how to do funnels. Every time there was a question, I was just like, man, this is not why I'm here. And that dance between the holding on to what works and then letting go of what works so that you can really step in to the stuff that that you're supposed to be doing more and in the way that you're supposed to be doing more, I found was really freaking hard. 2018, I kind of danced between trying a whole lot of stuff, and it was a really transformational year for me. Grew my confidence again and kind of like found my voice again. I wrote Visible. And Visible for me was kind of like, all right, if I'm going to move away, then, I've still got to leave, I've got to leave a legacy for people of how to do this. I wonder what it's going to look like. And, 2018, I just kind of kept trying some different things, but then I really decided in 2019 to go, all right, that's enough. Start of 2019. So I'm talking only like at the start of last year, right? Where I've gone, everything that I think I know, I'm putting in the bin. So everything that I think I know, all of the beliefs that I thought that I believed around how you have to make money, high-end programs, low-end programs, having lead generation going, having your ads going, having to do webinars, having to be a certain way, having to talk in a certain way, having to go to corporate, having to go to public market, having to do this, having, all these have to do's and should do's and everything like that, which is kind of like all tied in with, I guess, with me believing that I couldn't have what I wanted, that I couldn't be who I wanted to be, because for whatever reason, I decided that wasn't the way that you become successful, that I became successful, or that I was going to become more successful. And so what was really interesting was I threw everything in the bin. I'm like, okay, you know what? Clean slate. If I had to start all over again, what would I be doing? And, I know a lot of you are starting out. And I know some of you are in the process of going, you know what, I've got one foot in doing what I feel like I have to do. And I've got one foot in feeling like, oh my God, but I'm feeling pulled to really do this kind of work. And a lot of the time fear kicks in because we're like, well, if I let that go, then what happens if it doesn't work? what happens if I don't make money? What happens if all my clients leave me? What happens if this doesn't, if this doesn't work? And so we can kind of hang on to the stuff that's unresourceful, and we believe the things that we tell ourselves about how we have to be, how we should be, what we have to do, and how we have to do things, and things like that, where instead, don't we think, and what I choose to believe these days more than ever is that when you tap into your zone of genius, right? When you tap into what that is, what that work is, it's almost like it becomes addictive, right? To the way that you do what it is that you do. And you know what your zone of genius is. Sometimes it can be hard to articulate it in words, but you know the feeling that kicks in when you're in your zone of genius. Whether it's the way that you inspire people, motivate people, see people's potential, whether it's the way that you could just cut through the bullshit and help people take a step forward, whether it's the way that you inspire people to joy, or how they write, or how they paint, or, whatever, like the way that you enrich people's lives in your style, the way that you do it is your zone of genius, right? Hey, Kylie, good morning. And to me, like, the thing is that once you've had a taste of that, then, you can ignore it for a little bit, but it will become apparent at some point in time that you can no longer ignore that call. It's almost like the calling of your soul. It's that calling of your genius. It becomes unignorable, and I think like what we've really got to get back to doing is finding what that is and finding a vehicle to be able to do that. And in order for that to work, we've got to change. We, you, me, people in general, we've got to change the way that we think about it, right? So some of you will think that you have to create products in order to make money. Some of you may believe, and this is to be me, that the only way that I'm going to be able to have the reach that I have is by having really high-end products, high-end programs, and then everything else is cream. I thought it would be really hard to have lower end stuff and things like that. I used to believe that in order to be successful, you have to work hard, right? Now, I no longer choose to believe that. I think that's horseshit. I do believe that there are times where you will work hard and there are times where you have to hustle. But, I've done the thing where you work all day, every day, almost to the point of ignoring everything else. I don't want anyone to hustle 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to have to start working at 5 a.m., to finish working at 7 p.m., to then go back to work at 8 p.m., to get as much in, to, build connections and collaborate and message and, this and that and the other and la, la, la. Fuck that shit. It's a fast track to burnout, and it's the fastest way to almost like suppress your zone of genius as well, because you're going to be too freaking tired to serve anybody else because you can't even serve yourself. So I think the thing that today's message really is I want you to have a think about the stories that you've been telling yourself about why you can't have what you want. What are the stories that you've been telling yourself about why you can't be who you are and who you want to be? If you want to be on stages, then fucking make that happen. I mean, outside of COVID restrictions and that kind of thing. If you want to be an author, then drop the bullshit that a whole lot of people think that, but I can't be an author because they don't make any money. I can't be a healer because they don't make any money. I can't go and do this because they don't make, they don't make enough money. Or I can't do this because I can't do this. Blah, 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 blah. Like, let that shit go. Do you not think that if you are saying, okay, I'm just going to do the work that I'm here to do. I surrender. I'm just going to work as much as I humanly possibly can in my zone of genius and do what I do for the lion's share of the time. Do you not think that the universe is or God, source, whatever you want to call it? Do you really think that you're not going to be rewarded financially, emotionally, in every possible area of your life from an abundance perspective? Do you really think that you're not going to be that will almost be like a natural consequence to you doing the work that you're here to do, like your soul's work? To me, I think it is. You know, I think if you are really committed to just doing the stuff that you are the freaking amazing at, which is being you, in the way that you do it, and helping people, inspiring people, motivating people, you know, doing whatever it is that you do to help and transform people. You know, when you're doing that and letting go of all the shoulds and the have tos, and, you know, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to show up in this way, you've got to do that. You know, that's the key to standing out, you guys. The key to standing out is you activating that zone of genius within you and sharing that with the world. And that's the thing that's going to have you resonating with your audience. That's the thing that's going to make you stand out. That's the thing that's going to make success easy and simple. And yes, you still need to do the work. Don't get me wrong. You still need to do the work. You'll still need to do some technology stuff. You still need to do some of the things that you don't want to do. But hey, you're not selling your soul for the sake of making money because you feel like you have to do this, right? Tap into what you're feeling like you're being called to do, and trust. The big key here is to trust that what you're being shown or what you're feeling and the way that you do what you do, that is actually, decide that is the key to you getting to where it is that you really want to be and becoming the human that you really want to become. And everyone won't get it. Right? You might get some advice that's like the advice that I was given in 2015, and I took the advice because I was paying for it, and I believed that they had my best interests at heart, and I think they did. The advice that I was given regarding, you know, still teaching Facebook ads and funnels and being the technical help desk, you know, which I would still do that for clients if I'm working at a high level with them, but it's not what I do when I bring people in. Because from an entry level perspective, right? But the advice that I was given when I said, you know what, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to do this. You know, I really want to teach and help and coach and work on people's mindset and success mindset and pull the things out of their brain that they can use to make money. And the advice was, well, you've got two choices. You know that this makes money. So you can keep playing your hit song and keep giving the people the thing that they want, or you can go and do the other thing and make no money, and it probably won't work. And I've gone, okay, great. And I said, what would you do? And they gave me the ACDC analogy, and, you know, with Angus Young, when we saw him on stage with Guns N' Roses actually a couple of years ago, and he still gets his guitar out and he still does that funky little backward dancing move thing that he does going across the stage. And he said, I'd be like Angus Young. You keep playing your hit song and you keep giving the audience what it is that they want. Do you think Angus really wants to get up there and do that little jig that he does? That's what the audience want to see, so that's what he gives them. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes logical sense. That makes logical sense to me. Okay, well, let's do that. And it wasn't until like a good 2.5 years later that I've gone, okay, I get it. Let the odd shit go that is not fueling my soul, and do the stuff that I'm really here to do. So I really hope that this saves you a bunch of years of time. I trust that this will help you make some decisions around, you know, the way that you show up. This will help you stand out, right? This will help you be seen. This will help you do more of what you're here to do, because everything that you start to do will be infused with joy and passion and excitement, rather than I've got to do this because I've got to make some fucking money. You know, it's a completely different energetic exchange that happens when you're coming from that place of you're loving the shit out of what you're doing every single day, out of the love of it versus obligation. So follow the calling of your soul. That is my message for you today. So I am going to set you free about your day. If you are wanting to come along to Visible Live, where you'll learn the structure where we'll pull this out of your head. This is something that I'm really, really amazing at, is pulling all of your amazing ideas, your content out of your brain that you can use to market, that you can use to position yourself as an expert for your audience so that you can really stand out there, make a really big impact, stay on message all the time. You will walk away with your marketing plan and a content plan and all of that goodness. Visible Live is happening next weekend. You can see I've got a comment in there today with a beautiful testimonial from Tess. She was at Visible Live last year, and she's just been killing it ever since. So if you are wanting to come along to that, happening next weekend, the link is in the comments. You will see it down there. I can't wait to see you and all the other people who are coming along to that. Meanwhile, follow the calling of your soul, but also get out there, go help some people, have a whole ton of fun doing it. And remember, the world is ready for your brand of awesome. I will see you tomorrow, if not before. Bye-bye.